Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. People are saying that Muslims can't take criticism in regards to Islam. But as Muslims, we don't have problems with criticism at all. We actually encourage it. True criticism challenges us to learn and to reflect upon ourselves. The problem is that most people think that they're criticizing, but in reality, what they're actually doing is just judging. Most people don't consider the merits and demerits or pros and cons of a subject. They usually just skip to the part of judging. Because to consider the pros and cons of a subject, you have to invest time and effort. Take Islam for instance. With 1400 years of history, how can you become an expert in a weekend? When I first started learning about Islam, I was notorious for doing Google searches. I would have regular arguments with a brother of mine about how I'd done enough research to at least discuss the subject. Even though he was right, I generally just argued with him for the sake of arguing. And just because I admitted that doesn't mean I'm giving in. I will find a way to continue to argue with you. Aside from lack of time invested, most people focus their attention on what they perceive will affect them the most. And because of this personal nature, they become biased in their approach to the subject, and ultimately lose their objectivity. So now to say that you truly criticize something, you must invest time to acquire the appropriate information in an objective way. And then you must carefully consider the information that you've gathered. And then, and only then, can you form an accurate opinion. And without following these steps, you're not making a criticism, you're just judging based on ignorance. Are people actually criticizing Islam on its pros and cons? Let's examine this judgmental statement. Islam is an evil and false religion because its holy scripture, the Quran, is full of violent verses. So according to some sources, there's as many as 333 violent verses in the Quran. The Quran consists of 6,236 verses, which is about roughly just over 5%. So how can anyone truly criticize Islam as a whole by ignoring the other 94%, or 5,903 verses? So don't judge 1400 years of history and the faith of 1.5 billion people without putting in some effort. Islam is a complete way of life. If you want to criticize, then make it honest criticism and discuss the faith. Take some time. Open your eyes and heart. You might just learn something. Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you.